Yo, what's happening, world? It's Raheem Flowers coming at you once again. It's been a minute since I made a video, but honestly, I had something that was on my mind for quite some time. And me and my homie, we were speaking about just the obscenities of nepotism and how everybody tries to play this part and this role, and eventually they fuck themselves over because they're trying to get some benefits out of it. When it comes to business, people trying to look out for the fam, or trying to look out for some friends, or trying to look out for some hoes that they would want to fuck, etc. And honestly, I would even go as far as to say that this relates to a bunch of fuck shit, or niggerish acts, or niggativity, as Achilles from Niggas to Gods coined the term. And that's what people are spreading, negativity, that energy. And you notice because when you see that all these broads selling pussy on social media, you seeing these dudes, these simps, giving up weed for sex, and you're just seeing people encourage these monstrous acts. For example, look at the Empire, look at WorldStar. WorldStar literally monopolizes off of fuckery. And honestly, it's getting to the point where I don't want shit to do with it. And I don't think any sensible individual will want anything to do with that. So when I see all these gangbanging ass Negroes and essays and white trash doing what they do, well, I look at it like this. If the community isn't gonna stand, it's going to keep perpetuating. That's why people like academics can make the videos and make channels like the War in Chirac, and as I just stated earlier, that's why Q was able to make money and monopolize off of people's miseries and chaos and disorder. So it's time for people to really change their mindset, because honestly, we make a conscious decision to do all this fuck shit. Can we really call it a mistake? You see, a mistake to me is more like, okay, I wanted to bake pizza, I only wanted to have it in there for like maybe 20 more minutes. Now, the pizza gets burned, and I kept it in there for like 45 more minutes. That's a mistake. Now, if I end up wailing on somebody, and this person did nothing wrong to me, let's say it was a blind individual or a paraplegic, I whack this motherfucker, and then I get punished for it, like going to jail for assault and battery. How can I say that I made a mistake? I made a conscious decision, and it goes back to the whole negativity thing. We make a conscious decision to spread that type of energy, that hostility, that brutality, that doesn't do anybody no good. It becomes a detriment to everybody because we don't want to be, there's no societal accountability. That's what negativity loves, company and no responsibilities. And what I'm suggesting is people gotta separate themselves. You gotta separate yourselves from the lowest of the lowest. The most common denominator will be a detriment to your life. Doing it unapologetically. As I said in Dear Black People Learn Self-Preservation, for those who watched it. And that's the best way that you don't identify with that negativity, by not standing in front of it. Because it's the same logic as those who don't gangbang. Even if you're not a gangbanger, if you're caught hanging around a bunch of gangster disciples, or black disciples, or vice lords, or Latin kings, or four corner hustlers, black peace stones, Bloods, Crips, etc. If you're caught hanging around them and you get caught lacking, as these kids these days say, guess what? By association and default, you're going to be considered a gangbanger. Even if you never got a violation, even if you never robbed nobody or you even help jump somebody, it doesn't matter. You're in the premises of another gangbanger. Hey man, Robert Greene said it best. Avoid the unhappy and the unlucky, and the 48 laws of power. And that is a great advice that we as people need to take. And another thing that came to my mind, for those who are on the morale page, shout out to Big BK. I made a statement, and this might be a bit random, but I love how Africans especially try to separate themselves from Black Americans, and maybe even Caribbeans to a lesser extent, because they'll say, oh, that's Black people's problem. No, motherfucker, it became your problem too, because your people wanted to sell other blacks during the African slave trade, and then you want to give it to whitey. Oh, you want to say that that was my ancestors? Well, guess what? You're using the same logic that white people have used. So I'm saying, the reason why I'm saying that, in essence, not completely random, but honestly, these ghettos that you see Black people in, which is also a Jewish term, by the way, well, this was all manufactured. Now, and it's time to reverse the effects. So,
it's one of my favorites.
It's time for people to just discipline their minds and just shift the mentality. We seeing now, I bet you it's a complete uproar in the so-called Black community because something about the EBT cards went down, or there's some sort of issue occurring with EBT cards, and you already know these hood rats, they need their cheese, they need their government assistance more than anybody else. But I say fuck that, because when you become codependent of somebody, you start to lose your instincts, you start to lose you don't really think, you don't want to rely on your own wits, your own merits, because you got somebody else backing you up. And that's what has become this Black community, shambles. And that's what it's become of any community, not even just Black. So now we have to make a conscious decision to do something that will make us create more productivity by teaching our kin the value of money and the value of education and knowledge and whatever they want to do with their life that would be more constructive to their family and all that. Yes, sir. So instead of just gravitating towards that bullshit, instead of just trying to be an apologist for evil, so to speak, it's just time to just load up the cannons and turn that into, and direct that energy in something more constructive and more positive. That's all I'm gonna say right now. No deep speech, none of that. Shout out to the sister Melanin Sutek and my homie for inspiring me to even make this statement. And I'm out.